Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, a Spotlight podcast. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
So in July of 2021, we introduced a concept being discussed called Strikeout Baseball and the plan to establish a facility here in Lansing. Well, a little more than a year later, the team is back to give us a status update, and here to discuss this exciting concept plan for our region is the founder of Strikeout Baseball, Mr. Jeff Lazaros, and the director of operations, Mr. Vic Verchereau. Darn, I practiced that too.
Hey, you did good.
Vic Verchereau. Welcome, Vic and Jeff. Welcome back.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
So it's been a little over a year, and back then there was a lot of questions, but the concept was really strong, and you guys were energized to go out and make this a reality. And here we are a year plus later, and I've heard rumblings through the community about all these great things that have been going on, and I want to let our listeners know what's going on and where things stand. So explain to our listeners what Strikeout Baseball is from kind of a physical and programming standpoint. What will people see once this thing's up and running?
They're going to see an awesome stadium here in downtown Lansing that's going to facilitate kids to come and be able to play pickup baseball without the pressure of coaches, parents, just a fun environment where kids can play a modified version of baseball in the John Smoltz Strikeout Baseball Stadium.
All right. Now, this is not, we have the Lugnut Stadium here too, so The idea is that this is a modified ballpark, right, to make it a little easier for kids to pick up?
Yep, it's a miniature stadium that's going to have a full infield. It's ideally set up for 5-on-5 with a pitcher and a full infield.
Okay.
There are some rules that kind of incorporate the game. We're going to have some clinics along with John. We talked about some great things coming up in the springtime that are going to not only get the kids some gloves and some tools to play the game, but to educate them on the functionality and how the game is actually played.
Right on. Okay. So now, is this concept live anywhere, or will Lansing be the first?
This will be the first of its kind in the world.
And is this your brainchild?
Yeah, I've been on this for quite a while.
I called you founder, so I'm assuming that this is your deal.
Mr. Smoltz, God rest his soul, what an amazing man. I wanted to jump right to that if I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's John's dad.
John's dad recently passed away, if you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
He passed away here just a month or so ago, and he was a catalyst for what we're doing. He really wanted to make this happen, not only for his love of Lansing, but for his passion for kids. It's I get choked up to think of the hard work and the effort that he's put into helping us get to where we're at. And this will be the first of its kind. But he often frowned on me bringing up anything to do with strikeout baseball of the past. But this is something that I've thought about and done many, many years ago, and time gets in the way, life gets in the way, family, work, all kinds of things. But I feel like I've reinitiated the effort to really bring strikeout baseball to life in a way that will really not only accommodate the kids of Lansing, but just create that excitement for the game of baseball that we all love.
Right.
And Chris, I think, the thing about the past that you just can't get away from is that a lot of players, and really successful ones, I find have played some version of strikeout baseball against their mom and dad's chimney or the brick wall on their barn or whatever it is. These guys and even John Smoltz tells the story of pitching from the road, right, Jeff? Yeah. Pitching from the road at his mom and dad's house to a chimney where they marked a strikeout zone on the chimney. So it does have roots in the past. There's a lot of this, but what makes this unique is that this is an enclosed stadium. There won't be any balls that'll be leaving the stadium, kids having to chase into the road to get their ball or knocking out windows by accident. The other thing is that there's no outfield. That's the one thing. Jeff mentioned a full infield. Yep. There's virtually no outfield. And so the ball will hit a certain spot on the wall. It'll be a single, triple, double, whatever it is, home run, and it'll all stay inside the play. So it's very unique, some new rules to learn, but truly something innovative and exciting. And Chris, the reason why Jeff's idea has come of its time is because this is something special for downtown Lansing. It's one of a kind. It's the only thing anywhere in the world. And I can tell you that somebody as important to the game of baseball as John Smoltz, number 29 from Atlanta Braves, has said this will do for baseball what Topgolf has done for golf.
Interesting.
It's innovative and it's a game changer.
And it's you guys know the background probably a lot better than I do, but baseball has kind of grown to be a little less accessible. You got to find 18 kids, right? That want. It's either you're playing catch with a buddy, if you have 3, you've got a pitcher and a catcher and a guy shagging flies and scooping up balls. But if you hit a ball like me, you never know where the hell it's going to go, right? So
like my golf game,
right? Yeah, right. So I guess this idea is that you can do it with a lot fewer people.
I think what's cool is when you talk about the turn of generations. For me when I talk to baseball people and share the fact that growing up in Detroit, we played 9-on-9. We had 9 guys waiting to play the winning team. You'll never see 30 kids at a park to do anything in this day and age.
Right.
But people of this time can't wrap their head around what 30 kids at a park would look like playing like a game, whether it's soccer or kickball or basketball, whatever. Just to have 30 kids gathered in a municipal park.
Right.
That's really the vision that we have for Lansing, and John has, because we really not only want to help reinvigorate the love of the game, but just create that place where kids can get off the street, have fun, just enjoy the game, and
put
develop.
the phone down.
Put the phone down. There you go. I didn't want to go there, but that's evident, right?
Yep.
No, it's really going to be a cool place, and I just say that I often talk about the structure and the facility and all the things that it's going to do for Lansing and hopefully for the game of baseball.
Yep.
But I'm really proud of the people that have kind of gotten on board and really grabbed the bull by the horns to get us where we're at.
Right.
And to see this thing through to the finish line, and now obviously in honor of Mr. Smoltz Sr., who really poured his heart and soul into what we're doing here in Lansing over the past year and a half. People hear about it and they're going to know what his involvement was, because he was, wouldn't you say he was director number 2 maybe, or what? How would you? What was his title officially?
Emeritus comes to mind. That's a big fancy word we can use. But just love him to pieces in terms of what his passion was for this. This was his family's dream, I think, to say, hey, John Smoltz, number 29, Hall of Fame. Absolutely stunning dominance of the baseball game is from Lansing. And we're going to put something up that kind of commemorates that, and also gives, in my opinion, a chance for kids to dream, because that's really what it's all about. Is Chris, when you think about these children that come into and live in these downtown areas, I don't know where they go to find their dreams. But one of the things for sure, when we erect a stadium right in their neighborhood, when they understand that people from all kinds of organizations and companies and people have stepped forward to donate and to make this happen, that's a big thing, because now all of a sudden it demonstrates in my mind that somebody cares about these kids in downtown Lansing, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it.
Right, and there's a million different paths you can go, and baseball may not be your deal, but for those who have an interest, they've got a new facility. They will have a new facility that they can go air that out and see what kind of skills they've got.
You bet. And so the issue is, a lot of times everybody says, well, how much money do they need for this thing? Well, look, this is different. It's unique. It's going to be enclosed with a netting around it and fencing. It's going to have special cement. It's going to have AstroTurf. And Jeff's made arrangements through John Smoltz, number 29's efforts to get actual AstroTurf that's in national baseball stadiums around the country. So it's going to be the real deal, right?
Nice.
And so we've got AstroTurf. I'm saying AstroTurf. We have artificial turf coming. We've got some amazing, stunning graphics and different things that are going to happen. But all of this is going to create a level of curiosity that if you don't play baseball, you're going to go, maybe I should,
or just be a spectator and watch the magic happen.
Yeah.
Jeff, back to you real quick. So we've talked about John Smoltz. We mentioned that he's local and he's gotten behind it. I'm grateful that you found someone who could be such a name and a draw and probable benefactor, right, to all of this, whether it's wisdom or finances. But the city of Lansing obviously helped you find this park, right? So can you share with us where the facility is going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be at Ferris Park, right at Shiawassee and Walnut Street. They have a little makeshift soccer field called Beacon Field that they put in about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
It's been a big draw. It's been a great hit for the kids in the community to come play pickup soccer, in a similar version of what we're going to do with baseball. Of course, having John on board is going to open some doors. But I just want to say that he's not just throwing his name on this thing. He is in the trenches. He has really stepped up to the plate. There's a pun, but to really be a part of this, like he called for an emergency board meeting and flew into town to go over a lot of the particulars and nuts and bolts as we finalize the plans of what this stadium's going to look like, the functionality, the rules, the programs that we're going to implement into the springtime, bringing Coach Boss on board, who's part of our advisory board.
Okay.
Tyler Parsons at the Lug Nuts is going to do some things to help. Maybe bring in some professional ball players to do some clinics tactics and some things to really getting kids engaged. And that's really what fired Mr. Smoltz up Sr. was just getting these kids active to develop a love for baseball. I mean, it's our national pastime, right?
Right on. Yes, it is. All right. So where do we stand today? What timelines? When do you think this thing might be open? What
that
else
goes to the director.
What else do you need to get to the finish line?
Well, thanks, Chris. The big thing is that we really have broken this into two different phases. The first phase, you're going to see dirt moving here soon.
Okay.
Which is exciting for us because what we're going to be doing is going to be putting in a lot of the elements. There's a bunch of, I'm sure there's a professional word for concrete, but there's a bunch of concrete, and there's a bunch of moorings, footings, all the different things that have to be placed put in place. And we're going to do that this fall yet because we want that to weather, if you will, over the winter and settle. And then what's going to happen is next spring, phase 2 will be some of the more aesthetic looks of the stadium, some of the things that'll make it look really cool, and some of those elements. And those elements will be fun to put in phase 2 next spring. And we're going to have our grand opening and our first pitch next spring. So that's overall our plan. We just got done with a Patronicity grant. We're grateful to Patronicity and the MEDC for their matching grants. So we actually raised another $50,000 on top of that, and they matched all of that. So That's exciting. So this project is going to be north of $300,000 total. And when it's all said and done, we still could use the help in finishing some of the finishing touches to make this really special. And of course, Jeff, all they have to do is to find out how to donate is just go to Strikeout Baseball USA, right?
USA.org, yeah.
.org, yeah.
StrikeoutBaseballUSA.org.
Yeah, okay. That's right. And so we could use the extra help. And we're down to some of the large donors have just given so generously. Some major corporations here in town, some individuals have stepped up in some really big ways. So we've got individual contributions as much as $30,000 all the way down to organizations giving $20,000 and $30,000, $50,000. So it's been an exciting trip for us, and by golly, we'll take the $50 donation because that's helpful too.
Right. So, all right. So you're talking first pitch this coming spring.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
That's as they say, I don't know if we can do this in radio or not, but hell or high water, we're going to be throwing that first pitch.
Right. Okay, good. So obviously John Smoltz and his father, you've got the city of Lansing. What other benefactors have stepped up? Are you willing to share any other names of people that you feel have helped you get to the mission?
I always get in trouble because I'm who I'm going to forget, but I can also tell you that we've had some organizations, when they step in, it's a legitimate event in Lansing, right?
Yep.
So if I think about things going on here in town, if Jackson is involved, then it's a big deal. And Jackson is one of our larger benefactors to this. Sinair has been an amazing partner in this whole process. We have auto owners that have stepped up. A couple different agencies have given personally out of their programs. So there's exciting stuff that goes on there. Alro Steel has a wonderful, I think, founder of Alro Steel, who does great things there with baseball. Lots of great organizations.
The Mets family at Dowding Industries, we don't want to forget them.
Absolutely, one of our first one, the Mets
first
family, you bet.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited. I love baseball, whether a spectator or throwing the ball around a little bit. My shoulder's not what it used to be, but I really appreciate you coming in and giving us an update, and maybe we'll talk again in the spring as we get ready to cut that tape.
I love it. As they say, play ball.
Work on your game because we're bringing you out to play. So.
There you go. Hey, thanks for joining us here today. We've got the founder of Strikeout Baseball, Jeff Lazaros, and Director of Operations, Vic Verchereau. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Chris.
you having us. Thanks, Chris.